This is the day I proposed to my girlfriend. But before that, the thought of marriage has terrified me my whole life. It was always a line I could never cross. Think about it. Marriage is one of the few decisions where being wrong could cost you decades. You're not just choosing a person, you're choosing a future you can't undo. No one gets married with divorce in mind, right? So once you choose, that choice is final. So how do you know the person you're choosing or already chose is the right person? Culturally speaking, the dominant narrative and the media we watch have shaped the things we look for in the right person into two main signals, which are feelings and some version of a checklist. The feelings part is you think you found the right person because the feelings you have for them are so strong. The love, the connection, the attraction, it's undeniable. So you take these feelings as confirmation signals to marry them. The problem is that feelings are not constant. You can feel love and passion one moment, but when you fight or go through hardships, the love can decrease and even switch to bitterness and resentment. So if you take your feelings as confirmation signals, they're not reliable enough. As for lists, these are the qualities you want. The problem is that the things you want might not be the things you need. You might want someone who's exciting and spontaneous, but what you actually need is someone who's steady and dependable. Your list might want someone who always agrees with you, but what you actually need is someone who sees things differently to bring in new perspective. So your list is limited by your self-awareness. Sometimes we don't know what we need. This is why people can be so madly in love and be with someone who checks all their boxes while constantly think they're with the wrong person. They build their relationship on foundations that were never meant to last. So what are the foundations that long-lasting relationships should be built on? Knowing this helps you see clearly if you're with the right person. And if you're already married, knowing the foundations to build can strengthen your marriage. So there are countless tools and frameworks out there. But the foundations that restored my broken relationship and helped me cross the line that terrified me my whole life are these two. The first foundation is matching expectations with reality. Sometimes we hold preconceptions of what love should look like. And these preconceptions shape the expectations we have in our current relationship. So what happens when the expectations we have don't align with the realities of what we're experiencing? We doubt our relationship and might think to ourselves, are we even with the right person? If this is what love should look like, it's clearly not happening in our relationship. So adjusting misaligned expectations about love to line up with how relationships actually function would help us build long-lasting foundations with our partner. So one of the most damaging expectations people have about love is some variation of the saying, if it's meant to be, it shouldn't be hard. If you're with the right person, everything will fall into place. This saying equates effort, trying, and hardship with being with the wrong person. But if you think about it, believing this kind of makes sense. Committing to someone long-term is a massive, irreversible decision. We all know this. That's why a lot of people are stuck here behind this line. You've been with someone for a very long time, and the next step is across this line. But if we know that beyond this line is hardship and putting in massive effort to make a marriage work, who would want to cross it? Honestly, that's why we cope and romanticize love and marriage with the viewpoint easy and effortless equals being with the right person. But it's not true. Marriage is hard and takes massive work. You're two different people with egos, different upbringings, beliefs, and expectations, creating one life together. Of course it's gonna be hard. So why do it? If we peel off the layers and look at marriage for the reality that it really is, why even get married? The value points I see beyond the hardships that made me cross this line are these. The first value point is marriage refines us. In order to be with someone your whole life, you need to deal with the worst parts of you. Because your ego, your pride, your trauma hurts the relationship. I'll give you an example. Before me and my wife got married, she asked me to see a therapist. So I have this trauma, once triggered, caused me massive anxiety and anger. And my wife saw this as a problem, so she asked me to see a therapist. The answer I gave her was, for you and our future family, I will do it. And within the span of 6 months, the anger was gone. Was it easy? Bro, heck no. It was extremely humbling and psychologically painful. But I don't want my trauma to hurt my wife, so I went through the process. And the byproduct is I came out the other side better. So the first value point is marriage refines us. The second value point is your partner's uniqueness. There is no one on earth like your partner. Their thoughts, values, sense of humor, the way they care for you is a very unique and specific combination. Yes, there's someone out there who's more good looking, smarter, kinder, whatever. But there will never be another person exactly like your partner. When you recognize this, your partner stops being someone replaceable and you start seeing the value of their unique presence in your life. And maybe they're worth crossing the line for. So once you look at love and marriage for the reality that it really is, that it takes hard work and effort, but you also see the value points beyond the hardship, and you choose to cross this line together, willing to do the work, you and your partner will fight for each other. And that effort is the foundation your marriage is built on. That's the first foundation. The second foundation is vulnerability and being fully known. Ask yourself this question. What's the one thing you'd never tell your partner? The thing you're taking to your grave? This question should terrify us because it reveals our deepest, darkest secrets. And most of the time, those secrets are tied to shame. It's something we're extremely shameful of. And we hide these things because saying them out loud carries real risk. If our partner truly knows our past, our flaws, the parts of us we're most ashamed of, they might reject us, see us differently, and might not accept us at all. Now imagine this. This is you and your partner. The circle is all of who you are. Your past, your fears, your thoughts, your dreams, your shame, all of you. So how much of who you are do you want your partner to love? Interesting question, right? Half? Maybe 80%? How much of who you are do you want your partner to love? My guess would be all of you. And they can't love all of you if they don't know the parts you hide. So I've been with my partner ever since my early 20s. And I would consider myself somewhat a person of integrity. I mean what I say and I always try to do what's right. But 4 to 5 years into the relationship, I did something I never thought I'd do. I cheated on my partner. And the cheating went on for a while. I thought either two things was gonna happen. We either break up or we get married, but I am taking this secret to the grave. But then something happened. I had a supernatural encounter and the way I saw things shifted. What I thought were acceptable and okay, I realized was actually pride, and I was wrong. And that realization led me to change. So I was in church one day and I heard something really profound. The person speaking said, "Do you know that the most intimate relationship you can have here on earth is with your husband or wife? There will never be a more intimate relationship." Think about it. You sleep next to each other, you have sex with each other, you're in each other's closest space, and you're building a life together. But the sad truth is, what's supposed to be the most intimate relationship became the most shallow. Because most husbands and wives don't know each other. They keep secrets and hide things from each other. And that hit home. I made a decision right there. I'm not having that kind of relationship. So I decided to tell my girlfriend back then everything. The day I told her I cheated on her was the scariest day of my life. But I kept thinking, I'm not settling for an empty relationship. So I confessed everything. Everything. Then something supernatural happened that can only be credited to God. My girlfriend started crying, but she wasn't crying out of anger or hurt. She was crying out of compassion. She looked at me and she said, "I'm so sorry you had to go through that. You must have felt so empty." And I was completely shocked. So I asked her, "Are you not angry?" And she said, "I can't be angry with you because who you used to be is dead. That person is non-existent because Jesus had changed me." After that moment, our relationship grew so much deeper. I was fully known by my partner And the same is true in reverse, because I fully know her as well. And we started building new, stronger foundations together. And what had terrified me my whole life became something I wanted and looked forward to. I want to build a life with this woman. So we crossed the line and got married together, fully knowing that marriage is super hard and it will take massive effort. But we are willing to fight for this marriage and each other. Please subscribe.